Hey, Segovia, back with another video. Hope everyone out there's having a good Monday, y'all. We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna take a little walk, the dark side of TikTok. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
There's a part in a there's a part in a Rock Nation contract that says that people are not allowed to sing about Christ. So I'll be wondering, I'll be like, yo, God, why? Why have you swung my sword?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you came in the game with Jesus Walks.
Like, why? There's a part.
HEB is more than just where you get food.
People that aren't from here don't understand what it means to be Texan.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of y'all that don't have HEB, I feel bad for y'all. I pray for y'all struggle because, man, that's the things that HEB does all the time. They're better than FEMA. I mean, and HEB started in Kerrville. They're boots on the ground. They're out there doing their thing. Their trucks are out there. They're helping people. You know, and the thing is, they're never asked. They just show up. Look at that. I won't move anywhere where there's not an HEB.
Oh,
That's
man,
rough,
I
man.
love HEB, but
You can always get stuff delivered.
Yeah, man. My parents, we don't have an HEB here. I'm like, well, I pray for y'all. I pray for my hometown.
I'll go as far as like I support what HEB does and their missions and stuff.
Yeah.
There are great grocery stores, right? HEB is more than just where you get food. They give back, just how they support a mom and pops, everything from sauces to whatever. It's Texas. It is.
They
the
have
bloodline
that
of
contest
Texas.
every year where they bring in locals.
Yeah,
people
their
send in local
ingredients and
stuff.
everything else is people from Texas that they support. It's
Well, I
not.
tell you what, if there's another grocery store that is similar, you said, I mean, to me, there's HEB is the industry standard. They're not even all over Texas, and they are the best grocery store in the country.
I got one.
The Forbes.
Wish.
There's so many polls out there. So for you people that don't live in Texas and live in the area where there's an HEB, we pray for y'all.
You ever notice how they love saying he had it all, but then he blew it?
You are at the place that every aspiring musician in this country wants to be. There are guys and girls all over this country trying to get to the top, and you get there and you blow it.
I didn't say all that.
They say it's so casual. Like greatness just slipped through his fingers, like legends just woke up one day and gave up. But here's the truth. Most of the time they didn't blow it. The industry did. What up, what up? I'm J Mike, multi-platinum producer. I produced the biggest record in Nicki Minaj's career, Kalani's career, worked with artists like Drake, Future, Britney Spears, Selena Gomez, etc., etc., etc. They tell you Sly Stone was taken out by drugs, but they don't tell you about the managers who siphoned his publishing or the label that milked his genius and left him with nothing but addiction they helped create. The drugs weren't the cause, they were the symptom. They tell you TLC was financially irresponsible. The best-selling girl group on the planet had to file for bankruptcy at the peak of their fame because they were signed to a slave contract. They were winning everywhere but the bank. They said Lauryn Hill went crazy. No, Lauryn refused to be a product. She saw the machine try to eat her soul, and she chose to protect it. That wasn't a breakdown. It was a boundary. You see this "you blew it" narrative? It's the industry's greatest defense mechanism. It's a lie they tell to protect the guilty. It keeps the artists blaming themselves, and it keeps the audience distracted from the crime scene. It keeps you scared. So if you're a creator, a producer, an artist, and you're struggling right now, I need you to hear this. It's not always your fault. You are not just fighting your doubts. You're fighting a system designed to make you doubt yourself. The game is rigged, and saying that out loud doesn't make you bitter. It makes you free.
Now, is it like this in other music genres? Like, I mean, it's not. But in the hip hop, I'm I'm not saying I am still, but I was a hip hop fan. That's what I grew up on. I love hip hop. I love R&B, like all those mid 90s, 2000s. Also, those all that alternative, all that, right? But in the hip hop community, R&B, more hip hop, you can't really go perform and sell out a stadium when you're 50 years old. You can't really. Like country, you can go travel, you can do a worldwide tour with country. No one wants to go see Big Daddy Kane, right? No, he's not going to sell out a stadium. He might sell out like 5,000 seats, maybe. I'm just speaking from what I think. But like, look at Ozzy. How old was he? In his 70s? He sold out that Black Sabbath concert. That thing was sold out, I'm sure. in a stadium. So you can't really do that as a hip hop artist. No, that it's just the way it is. It's a young man's game.
You and Raven Simone.
No one.
I'm just talking about, like parties.
No, I don't have
together.
a boyfriend.
She's single, but looking.
But I'm illegal for people that are old.
Well, some men like them young. We ain't gonna mention no names, but, I'm one of them.
Isn't that Anthony Anderson, the comedian?
So
in this clip, Lindsay Lohan said that she was illegal, and he said that some men like them young, and I'm one of them. Now let me guess, because he's a comedian, we're supposed to laugh at that? Well, you tell me. You tell me. Which part of saying that you're attracted to minors is funny? Don't worry, I'll wait. I'm gonna wait. Anybody in the comments, please, just show yourself. Show yourself in the comments, please. We all want to see you. Which part of saying you're attracted to illegal aged girls, minors, as a grown man is funny? Please, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see. You let me know which part of that is funny.
My friend Peter Attia, he's a doctor. He told me that orcas, the sounds that they make, their ability to detect sounds, like the frequency that they can project is similar to ultrasound. They can see through you. Literally can see through you through the ocean. Like, we don't even understand what's going on in them. He goes, it's mind-boggling.
Find out why everything is so expensive today, and I found out something interesting from 1981 to today. Do you know how much more money there is in our economy? If you look at our economy in 1981, according to the M2 money supply, we had $1.6 trillion in it, with 230 million people splitting it. That means under $7,000 per head in America. Every American, if we split every single dollar that was available in our economy, could have gotten just under $7,000. But do you know what that number is today? That number, if you look at the M2 money supply today, is no longer $1.6 trillion. It is $21.3 trillion. It has gone up nearly 1,300%. So you may be saying, has our population gone up about 1,300%, 1,100%, 900%? Neither. From 230 million in 1981, we now sit at a population of 341 million, meaning we've gone up 48.3% to the just under 1,300%. The money supply has gone up. So that means there was just under $7,000 available per person in 1981. And today that number is over $62,000 per person. 8 times the money available per person than there was in 1981. That begs the question, where's the money and why is everything so expensive?
Epstein and Trump were close. Sorry, Donald, just a fact. And when Elon Musk tweets Trump's on the list, and a few days later, there is no list, it begs questions. So they dangled this in order to get votes. And they lied to people. And we're only 6 months in, and the vandalization that he's done, pushing the boundaries on the rule of law, this is darkness.
Really? Because I hear this every election cycle.
No, it's a dangerous game, and America is struggling, and I really worry about our democracy. But Trump is likely to lose power unless they can rig the game.
Governor Gavin Newsom, are you going to try and become the next president of the United States?
Governor of California,
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
Who is the real Gavin Newsom?
I think most people see me as sort of a slick guy, grew up with a trust fund, but I didn't come from any wealth. Like my mom was a single mom. She was working 2-3 jobs. She ran out of her own bedroom, sacrificed everything for 2 kids. And I was going nowhere academically, but she never gave up on me.
And as your sort of political career starts to accelerate, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah, and she was in so much pain, suffering, she's going to do an assisted suicide. And I was holding her hand, and her last breath. But look, everything that finds the best of me, grit, hard work, is reflected in her. And that led to me sitting here with you as governor of California in politics.
He's an incompetent governor. Look at the job he's doing.
He's a stone-cold liar.
There's always conflict between you and Trump.
I think he enjoys sparring with me. I know he thrives on it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it. Every time I have a conversation, it's unbelievably cordial. And he says, you need anything, call me. Including the night before he, quote unquote, federalized the National Guard, but then calls me Newsom. He wants to take me out.
Do you think he's going to try and stay in power?
So I don't think I'm exaggerating, but when people close to Donald Trump send the governor of California, hey.
This is the real reason why they call it Tucson, Arizona, because two suns would have to be doing this, because that first sun, that yellow sun, was not as powerful. The earth is literally screaming for thirst, y'all. And it's crazy how the dichotomy of, right, we have all these cities flooding, right, these rivers swelling up, the oceans are doing the most, but the desert is staying dry. So you guys know they can't build without water, right? And because of this has halted the production of a whole bunch of new homes in Arizona, y'all. Check, and it's causing people's bills to spike as well.
Phoenix, Arizona is banning the construction of new homes because they're running out of water, but they're not saying why the water is running out. Factory farms. This is a picture of Lake Mead, which provides water for 20 million people. It's the single largest water reservoir in the nation. Or I should say, it used to be. This is Lake Mead today. The Colorado River, which feeds into Lake Mead, is going completely dry. But it's not ordinary people who are using the water. A recent study found that there's one polluter that uses 5 times the water of all the residential homes in the area. Factory farming. Worse yet, even as ordinary citizens are seeing their water bills skyrocket, factory farms are being subsidized, including a $1 billion deal by the federal government last week.
So maybe it's not just ICE that's arresting these construction workers, that's halting all this construction work. Y'all see Mother Nature is fighting back as well. But yeah, y'all, two suns, y'all. The shift is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Since we're talking about the Catholic Church, I heard about this Eucharistic miracle of Buenos Aires in August 18th, 1996, in this one church in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Someone found the consecrated host or communion, like the bread part, and the way to dispose of that, because it's been blessed, you know. So what they would do is, or he took it and he placed it in a cup of water, basically, and put it back into the tabernacle. But then on August 26th, he opened it up, and what he saw was the consecrated host, the bread, looked like it had blood on it, and it had not dissolved at all. And he's like, what in the world? And so he brought in Jorge, who is Pope Francis. He showed him on September 6th. Pope Francis was basically like, take pictures of it, document it, because this is crazy, because it wasn't dissolving. If anything, it was actually looking like it was growing and like turning into flesh. So they sent it to this guy, Dr. Frederick, in New York. He examined the sample and concluded that it was human heart muscle tissue. And then he ran the blood type, and the blood type, it was a AB blood. What is a crazy coincidence is AB blood is also the same blood type that was found in the Shroud of Turin.
Shut up right now.
It's not been disproven ever, but the Vatican has also never made an official statement on it. But
that's so scary.
Yeah.
Aliens to invade the United States this November? That's what the news is saying. Not only are they saying that they're going to attack us November, it gets even crazier, but we'll get to that part in 1 minute. You won't even believe me. Look, remember, many of us have known that this was coming. This, get it? Possible hostile alien threat detected in unknown interstellar object, and it's slated to attack our planet in November according to a controversial new study. I gotta blank this one out because many people don't like the source, but there's many news agencies saying the same thing. And that's not even the craziest part. Why don't you look at this flyer right here? Alien Earth, a new show coming in a few days, showing the alien with the Earth in its mouth. By the way, look at this one. Very curious. Coming on August 12th, just a few months before November. So do you remember when I made the video about Charlie Kirk posting to his own Twitter that they were seeing UFOs and the pilots of the plane were talking about the UFOs that were surrounding them? And I told you guys there was most definitely a meaning for that. Well, on Twitter, a lot of people were alleging that the leader of the US was going to come out with alien-like declassification because people were getting antsy about a certain situation, certain pieces of paper with certain people's names on it. Starts with an E. And then just a few days later, New York Times, other places are saying that we are possibly going to be attacked by aliens. What a time to be alive. And by the way, it's not just the BB, it's an elaborate scheme with many different places and faces and people, and demons and fallen angels and everything. Because what if under your feet there were certain things going on right now? It's more than just demons. It's the most demonic thing your mind can conceive. But there's a layer, like an onion layer, to every declassification for every brainwave and every pattern of thought. Like this right here, saying they're interdimensional beings. But to truly understand the nature and just the whole aspect of what's going on, you need to know history.
Let's take it. Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So Literally the same people? Literally the same people who own the labels, own private prisons. So, you know, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, you know, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative is really kind of, you know, structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what the, you know, a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. You know, a lot of people, you know, feel like they're being controlled by the label.
But those programs are designed to oppress. So they're doing just that.
They're doing that, yeah.
Like, we're going to give you just enough to survive, and you're going to be happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take over housing, and we're going to give you just enough, and you're going to rent, and you're going to be happy with it. This program is by design.
These families, instead of getting better, they depend on the government for them to live, and they feel complacent to where they're at. So in their eyes, they're looking at the opposing party that's trying to remove all these programs and being like, they're demonizing the other party. Like, oh, how dare you take food from me if, like, this is all I have to support my family is these food stamps and this and that. And it's like, no, get your ass up and work.
Ponte a trabajar, güey.
You know?
Think about.
All right, we got into that a lot on yesterday's video on my second channel. Links down below. We did a video just on people talking about, you know, they're taking away people's EBT or lowering a lot. So if you're interested in those type of topics, it's different from over here. We're doing, you know, credit card debt, student loan stuff. I love that. I love talking about that type of stuff. So if you're interested in that, link down below. Second channel's over there.
On to young women in America. We have told them in the beginning that beautiful was big, huge butts, pufferfish lips, lots of plastic surgery, and that was the path to beauty. It was filled with silicone. Then, about 10 years later, we now tell them, same girl, better if it looks like you ate air. Ozempic is the main diet. By the way, let's get those fillers out. We'll get rid of those things real quick. So in a course of 10 years, we have radically changed women's bodies. Then we have told them, boss babe girl, you don't need no man. Man and you could do it all by yourself. And then women get a little bit older and they go, turns out I desperately want a relationship with another human being to travel through time with. They've been told two things that make no sense together.
This is costing around about $2 billion. And the Burj Khalifa itself cost 1.5 billion US dollars. So Grand Theft Auto 6 is more expensive than the Burj Khalifa. I saw a recent thing saying they reckon in the first 60 days, this is going to gross over $7 billion.
That's more than 70% of the entire Hollywood box office.
Well, you said before Hollywood needs to break about $9 billion a year
to kind of stagger on in its current form.
Yeah, and this itself in 60 days will make $7 billion. Isn't that incredible?
Crazy. Video games coming back.
We were the luckiest generation this planet's ever had.
We just had one regret, something you didn't do in your 20s. What would it be?
Might have been to do something a bit more useful. Yeah, because I genuinely think that we were the luckiest generation this planet's ever had. Just after the war, the Labour government brought in healthcare for everybody, free education. There was full employment, certainly in the 60s. And the rest of the world's in, and that's our generation that's really done that. So yeah, maybe just do something a bit more useful.
The times have changed. Basic grocery purchases by Kevin McAllister in the 1990 film Home Alone went from $19.83. Today, the same experiment ran a bill over $72 at one Chicago grocery store.
The leap from 2022 to today is wild, but let's look at purchasing power. In 1990, these groceries were $19 and the median household income was $40,000. Fast forward to 2022, the groceries basically doubled to $44 and the the income doubled as well. That
Went
all
down.
makes sense. But in the past year, it went from $44 to $72, which is a 1.6 increase. But yet the income stayed exactly the same. If the income would be keeping up, the income should be $129,000 for the median household income. And what do you know? That is the amount of money that the average American family needs to have a shot at qualifying at the average house. So all this inflation, housing prices, daycare, student loans, consumer debt is all on the rise. And yet income is stagnant. That is a big problem that we need to fix.
This guy in prison, he was dead for 2 minutes, verified by the paramedics, brought him back to life. He filed an appeal and said, I've served my life sentence. He did. He said, I served my life sentence. I verifiably died. I'm back. Let me out. And they're struggling. It is still in court because they're like, okay, we've got to follow the code here. He did die. Definition is so I was like, man, that was creative.
Why do you think you're like so hated worldwide?
Well, a lot of propaganda.
So to contradict this, I found maybe the most evil and haunted Netanyahu clip that exists on the internet. This is from 10 years ago. Truthfully, I don't know if I'll be allowed to play this, but here we go.
By a call of the Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, who was later sought for war crimes in the Nuremberg trials because he had a central role in fomenting the final solution. He flew to Berlin. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews. And Hajj Amin al-Husseini went to Hitler and said, if you expel them, they'll all come here. So what should I do with them? He asked. He said, burn them.
So if you're curious, shit like that is actually why Netanyahu is so hated. That is him blaming the final solution on a fucking Palestinian. The thing is, you can go to the Times of Israel and you can read the entire transcript of the conversation between the failed painter and the Grand Mufti. Now, was Hajj Amin al-Husseini a good guy? No, he was not. But this is fucking insane because the failed painter was talking about this stuff in 1919. In 1939, he was straight up saying the stuff in speeches that Netanyahu was talking about. Plans were already in place and actively being carried out when that meeting happened with the Grand Mufti. And when this speech was made to the World Zionist Council in 2015, countless Jewish and Israeli Holocaust historians came out and said, no, you're just blatantly wrong. Again, there was literally a transcript. And they asked al-Husseini about this later on in life. He said, the Jews lived among us for 13 centuries as a minority and we protected them. So what they talked about in their conversation was the potential of an Arab revolution against the British and the French in the Middle East. The horrific plan was not just already in the failed painter's head, it was being carried out. This man had such a compulsion to demonize a group of people, right, and to justify everything that is done to them, that he was willing to take the worst thing ever done to his own people and take blame off of the man who did it. He's willing to say that idea came from the head of someone whose head it did not come from. That is pure fucking evil, and that was 10 years ago. Nobody in their right mind should be supporting or platforming this man.
I am studying creative writing.
Going to a private institution for a degree that typically does not have the best return on investment.
But I have a passion for this kind of writing.
But
so
is the degree required?
Do you have a degree? Yeah, I have a degree.
In?
Liberal math.
Hey, what can we get into?
I don't know. What can you get into?
What are you studying?
Graphic communications. It's a super basic art degree.
Okay, so unemployment. Got it. We built up $75,000 of student loan debt. Say the degree one more time.
I study Shakespeare.
Okay, Shakespeare. Lovely guy. What are you going to do with that?
Well, that's such a complicated question.
Oh, no.
This is where you just have to say, we come from different worlds. You're not going to understand this.
What do you mean?
You won't understand like the precarity and why it's really all right.
What do you mean though?
Like your reaction there was like, oh,
I studied music composition in college. I was in the College of Arts School of Music, but I asked the job and you didn't know what to say.
So I have a lot of experience working at writing centers.
Okay.
So I could be that, there's availability for those kinds of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I also, something I really enjoy is like working with people who are like applying to college.
Have you seen?
If I had to do it over again, knowing what I know now, I would do something in the trades, whether it's mechanic, HVAC, electrician, something like that. I love watching, mobile mechanics tool walkthrough. Like, I like tools. I don't really know a lot how to use tools and whatnot, but I like them. I'm learning, right? So that's what I would do, knowing what I know now. Because when I was 18, I didn't think about anything. I didn't think I want to you know, an electrician would be cool, right? 'Cause then you start your own business. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do if I had to start all over. I would do something in the trades, y'all.
For the new Ice Cube movie because I need some verification that I didn't hallucinate what I just saw. This is a new adaptation of the iconic H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds, but instead of the charisma of Tom Cruise and the top-notch filmmaking of Steven Spielberg, this is a screen life reimagining of the story told entirely from a computer monitor. It's like that movie Searching, except instead of trying to locate a missing child, it appears to be Ice Cube screaming at his children over FaceTime while the Earth undergoes some sort of alien invasion. This is a real movie. It's coming out on Prime Video in less than a week. I'm sorry, but this is almost too crazy to even be a fake movie in the new season of the studio. Just take a look for yourself. There's a Universal Pictures logo at the beginning of the trailer. If I didn't know any better, I think we were dealing with The Asylum. But if this movie's streaming on Prime Video, what's going to be clogging up the bargain bins at your local Walmart? Hey, whatever you think of the trailer, at least we can't accuse them of deceptive marketing.
Like, are they just that out of touch? Like, they just think we're on our phones all day, FaceTiming, and oh, let's make a movie FaceTiming. Maybe we'll get their attention there. Like, no, we just want a good movie. That's it. We don't need it to be with modern times. It can be, you know, a movie of high school, how it was back in the 90s, right? Like, let's see that. Something good, a comedy of high school, like a Superbad or an American Pie, something like that, but a more original. Or a modern day American Pie, right? But we don't want FaceTime. I think they're just so out of touch. People that are creating the movies, people that they're just out of touch with reality. They don't know what it's like. Like when they were first making their movies, they were up and coming, they were hungry, they were with the times, they hung out with normal people, but now they're just hanging out with celebrities, they're hanging out with top billionaire executives. Like they're not level with the people no more. That's what we need. We need some young, hungry up and comers to be making these movies.
Like, for example, in Travis Walton's case, when Travis Walton in the 1970s wound up being, I think he was inadvertently injured by this UFO that he approached, and they basically beamed him up,
right, and repaired him
to try to repair him.
Let's go camping out there.
First, he was handled by the Greys, and he had the impression, I think correctly, that they're robots, they're cyborgs, they're cybernetic organisms.
Yeah, he said he bumped one. It was like really light and it like flew across the room.
Right. So they use this, the Nordics use these cyborgs.
Oh, it was like they're little slaves.
Yeah. Well, as they're robots, I mean, who would want to handle abductees directly, right? I mean, you're going to outsource all of the most aggravating work to these cybernetic organisms. Walton then subsequently bumped into these Nordics themselves once he tried to escape that situation where he's been handled by the Greys.
Yeah, explaining she had hair, they looked more human.
He encountered several different ones, and they all, he said, interestingly, they looked like they could all have been members of the same family. They were so similar to each other in their appearance. And they were all these Scandinavian-looking people. And these are the same entities that were reported by George Adamski back in the 50s, George Hunt Williamson. You predominantly see these two types, either these cyborgs or you see Nordics.
What about the praying mantis?
Well, that's a very interesting phenomenon that I discuss.
I ain't got no kids, but I'm in Walmart right now, and I'm looking at the prices of these. I'm gonna show y'all. That's just for the notebook. That's for the spiral bound. One's 90 cents, now it's 45. Crayons, 50 cents. Cheapest binders, $2. Scissors, 97 cents. $4 for like the mechanical pencils.
Is that bad?
And there's
Is that
like
insane?
a ton of them in there. Look at the prices of these. 50 cents, $2, $3. Markers, 97 cents. 47 cents. I don't got kids, but it is a little crazy how y'all. I ain't saying nothing. I don't. The proof is in the pudding, but yeah.
Spotify.
I think he's saying there's a lot of people right now, which might be another video for my second channel of people complaining about school prices. That's what I think he's saying. Like so many people on like social media are saying like, how can we afford these kids' school supplies? And he just walked through Walmart and, things are 50 cents, 47 cents, 90 cents, So like, it's not that bad.
Continues to be a problem, not just in terms of the piss poor payouts that artists are seeing based off of their streams on the platform every day, and the fact that musicians and fans are continually gaslit and told, hey, because of Spotify, musicians are doing better than ever. Meanwhile, the head CEO of Spotify, Daniel Ek, keeps cashing out on his Spotify stock, putting gobs of cash in his pocket, and then he keeps turning around and investing that money in military tech. He just put over 600 million euros in this 4-year-old tech defense company from Munich, and it just makes you wonder, like, does this guy care about the world of music at all? He's making so much money off of it, why is he not reinvesting it into the artists that he's making so much cash off of? Instead, he's putting it into war and weapons that are going to kill people. It's just insane to think that this is what your money is going to just for enjoying music. Love that. Awesome. Cool. Isn't tech so great? Isn't Spotify so cool? Isn't capitalism great? Love that. That's so awesome.
I don't understand anybody that has a Spotify membership, Apple Music membership. What's the other one? Pandora Music. Like YouTube Premium, y'all. With my phone company, Verizon, I get it for $10 a month. $10 a month. I get ad-free YouTube. I'm always on YouTube. That's why I got it. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't watch TV. I don't watch Netflix. I'm always watching YouTube. So I pay for no ads. But you get free YouTube music, which is any song you can think of that's ever been, I want to say created, is on YouTube. And then you can turn your screen off. So if you're out running, if you're out whatever, like right now, if you're watching YouTube and you don't have premium, you can't turn the screen off. You can't make the screen little and go on a different app. So for me, YouTube Premium pays for itself because I'm always on YouTube. So it doesn't make sense that I watch ads if I'm always on YouTube. And I get any song I want. Any song I want. All those old school that I went to high school listening to, those Eminem mixtapes, 50 Cent mixtapes, Lil Wayne mixtapes, those are all on YouTube. Now you can't find those on Spotify. You can't find those on Apple Music. You can't find them. They only have their albums. So to me, YouTube Premium pays for itself for anybody that listens to music or podcasts, whatever.
What was weird about Antarctica?
There's nothing there. So if you want to go see the emperor penguins or all of the wildlife that is available, you can't go to the interior of Antarctica, which is where we were.
Wow, jeez.
Thought that this was going to be the coolest jump that I'd ever done. And what I will say is it's probably the coolest location, because we were there for a week. We did our first jump the day after we got there, and then we did the final jump the day that we left. But it's a camp. The company's called ALE, Antarctic Logistics and Exploration. And it's a full-on camp. Like, Alex Honnold had passed through shortly after we had left there. He was climbing Mount Vincent, which is the largest mountain in Antarctica. Crazy group of people. So fully set up, like library, indoor packing area for us to do our parachutes, bathrooms, showers, really nice tents. Will Smith was there earlier. Like, if you're going to film, if you're going to do like a high-end film project, you basically work your way through that. It's fully established. There's a blue ice runway. We flew in on a 757, a runway made of like blue ice. The runway you land on is straight fucking ice. It's a chartered 757 through Icelandic Air.
Holy shit, you just land on ice?
Straight up blue ice.
What the fuck?
That's what it is. So that's the Russian plane that actually landed while we were there. I got a killer GoPro shot. That's the camp. Yep, that's it right there. And that's basically what it looked like when we were there too.
Is that camp set up for scientists?
No, at the South Pole, there is a bunch of, from my understanding, like pure science going on there, funded by governments. This is straight up, I mean, you can go there and just hang out at camp. You can go see glaciers. This is at one of the other, they have remote camps as well. They have like a very high-end camp, like there's tents like that. Those are the tents we were staying in right there. That one that's hovering over there, those are the kind of tents that we were staying in. But it's on an ice field. There's no insects. There's no wildlife. The sun doesn't go down.
How much food do they have up there?
As much as you could possibly want. They had a full dining facility. The setup there is unbelievable. You can go in and get food anytime you want to. They'll have a presentation every night. High-end National Geographic photographer. All sorts of crazy motherfuckers pass through there. I'm just going to walk to the South Pole, and they'll come back in subsequent years and give talks on, where they went and how they avoided these crevasses, which I had no fear of until I went to Antarctica and got the brief on crevasses, which is just, you're dead. They'll never find you again. And the camp is, of course, surrounded by them.
How deep are they?
Hundreds of feet deep. It's just from the shifting and moving ice. This is a guy who fell into one skiing. This is making its rounds on the old internet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so you can't even see the body. He stops himself. This guy self-arrests.
Oh, fuck.
But can you, who knows how much...
You wear the hat so these mother can recognize you on the street. You're not on the street right now, so can you please take your hat off?
Nope.
Why is that?
Because no reason.
I mean, what does that mean?
What if I have a hideous scar on my head?
I think you just don't have any hair.
I don't have any hair.
Yeah, so let them see. I'll give you $100.
Oh, for real?
I'll give you $100 if you take your beanie off and let everybody see.
200.
I'll give you $200.
Right now. Show me. This guy's got $100. Tell him. He's got $100.
I'll give you all of this money. I'll give you $200.
All right, give me.
No, I have to see first, and I want to see for myself.
You give me the money and I'll do it.
I don't believe you. Is it time? Can you do it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Put the money in my hand. I won't close my hand.
Okay, I have an idea. Here, Mike, can you stand right there for a second, please?
Mike. I will take my hat off in this chair right now within 10 seconds if you put that money in my hand.
Wow, I can't believe that happened.
It's like an alien.
You do actually have more hair than I thought you would.
Do I?
Can I have the Pepto-Bismol?
Why?
I have a sudden stomach ache.
My fault. He took it off. Most people would be embarrassed to take it off. You gotta respect him for that. But he is always wearing that damn beanie everywhere he goes. So there you go. You saw a look under the cape.
Law went to the Dominican Republic. Right, he lasted there maybe a month or two. I'm not entirely sure. I need to say this. He's not the best eater. He's not the most clean eater. He went to the Dominican Republic, and when he came back, he lost I'd say 20, maybe 30 pounds. Noticeable enough for me to be like, holy shit. It's in the food. It's in the food.
Right, I want you all to listen to me very, very carefully. Right, for those of you older, you know what's going on. New gen, okay, listen. This is the beginning of something called Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam, right? It starts with the fear factor, okay? Something external is coming to attack said place here, right? Problem. Now, they will offer you a solution. UFOs around the world map and many others in the sphere will all say, if they give you a solution, i.e., get on these buses, we will save you. Let's go, we'll take you to this location. You will all be safe, follow us. Do not, and I repeat, do not get on anything that they suggest or give you any sort of hand or a scapegoat. Alright? You heard it from me. Entertainment purposes only. Alright? This is the beginning, and I urge you, look at Bluebeam urgently. Now, I've got an interview with a professor called Dr. Avi Lee, and he's going to be with us on Sunday from 7:30 p.m. GMT, who is a researcher on this interstellar object that is coming into our solar system, and a lot of his research to do with this possibly being something else beyond. He's going to be live on this channel next Sunday, 7:30, with me, Mark Christopher Lee, and UFO Shiv. So come along, listen to what he's got to say, and he will be talking about this whole situation that is spreading like wildfire right now. Okay? And again, do not get on anything or follow anyone where they try and ask you or tell you that you will be safe.
Call to I was working with this young officer, and we got called up to this house up here on the mountain. The call comes in on the computer and it says this guy wants his wife taken to the psychiatric center. And I was kind of like, man, that's your wife. That's your problem, man. You take her. But I felt like a dick when I got there because it was anything but. We get there, we knock on the door, and this elderly man opens and he says, hey, my wife's been in the psych center for months. They let her go, and she needs to go back. And I'm afraid to put hands on her. I don't want to fight her. I don't want her to fight back, and I don't want to be accused of hurting my wife. We've been through enough. Well, she's upstairs. She's been out, I don't know, a few weeks, and she's not eating. She hasn't showered. She's not taking care of herself. She's not on her meds. And she's just been pacing up and down, back and forth, just pacing. And he goes, be careful where you step when you go up there, because there's blood along the floor. All right, because she'd been dragging her feet, and it just like gnawed her feet down. It was causing them to bleed out.
Jesus.
Yeah. Their son comes out of the kitchen or something. He's like, hey, what's up, you guys? Like, hey, what's up, man? And the dude says, go upstairs. Just be careful. She's up there. It's kind of already eerie. He's like, be careful. As we walk up the steps, beautiful home. I can't reiterate how lovely this home was. Like, it's like right out of the movies. There she is. She's straight back, and she's just kind of taking that torque stance where she just tweaked, and her hair is just stringy and matted down, just all matted out, and her skin is just pasty, just like, and she's doing this breathing like, going, fuck. She pops up, right? She just starts walking towards us, and she walks right towards me, and she beelines it right back to where she was started, and she's just going back and forth, dragging her feet, and she's like hyperventilating, and her body's jerking. I'm going like, what the fuck? No, I'm well versed in crazy bitch because I've dated a few of them. But this was on another level, man. I get the officer I'm with starts talking to her, and they're like facing each other. And this lady, she just looks at me. She just turns and looks at me, right? And she shallows her breathing, and she's looking at me, and I'm going like, what is she doing, man? I felt like red flag one, like something in her was watching me. I know that sounds nuts. That sounds like when we're looking at each other now. It's not like that. Like something was. I'm going, this is fucking weird. And then right then, this old man comes up, and he has something in his hand. And I'll get to that in a second. He has something in his hand. Kid does something. Red flag number 2. Kid takes a key out, and he unlocks his bedroom door and a deadbolt. I'm going, who does that?
Right.
I mean, you don't even have keys on this, probably on your doors, to the bedrooms here.
Regular.
This is also custom where it's a deadbolt.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? He has his Bible, and he sees that I have tattoos. He goes, do you have to cover those up? I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, check this out. He shows that tattoo now. And it's this angelic, Christian, whatever this thing is, like a protector. And I'm telling the officer, let's go. Let's get her going. The whole time she's engaged in me. And the kid says something. I'll never forget this. Sir, I'm like, what's up, man? He goes, this is nothing. I'm like, what do you mean this is nothing? He goes, you should hear it at night. I go, what? He goes, you should hear it at night. I go, this is your mother. You refer to her as it? That's not my mom, bro. I don't know what that is. He goes, and that's why I locked my door. I went, fuck this, man. So we get her, right? We're like, I tell the officer, we got to take her. Well, then that old man standing there with that thing in his hand, he has a Rolodex, like 3x5 pictures that maybe your parents had, like a little album.
Right.
And they had just moved here from maybe Idaho or Iowa. Again, lovely home. He's flipping through it, and he gets to this picture of this woman in the kitchen in that house. And that was her, and she's stunning. And I'm like, is this her? He goes, yeah. I go, what happened? He goes, we don't know. They don't know. I said, she an addict? Is she on drugs? History of any of that?
But wait, they don't know who she is?
No, that's his wife. They don't know what happened to her, according to her husband.
Oh, so the kid said that's not his mom.
Yeah, what he's saying, what what she's doing
in her current state.
Yes, he goes, that's
Okay.
not my mom.
Okay.
That's not, like, what he's saying is that's not the woman I know.
Right.
Yeah, that's mom. But
so he deadbolts his door at night because of her.
Yes.
The demons come out.
Whatever it is, man. Yeah.
New World
crazy.
Order, Mr. Rothschild. Right. New World Order.
Mind is crazy.
Depopulation.
Oh, listen, who are you?
Genocide.
Who are you televising for?
Well, we're independent
Yeah.
filmmakers. But you have nothing to say, Mr. Rothschild.
Have a nice life, sir.
So you guys may not be aware of the events that have been currently unfolding in Pakistan, so let me show y'all. First of all, they have been dealing with extensive flooding the past couple of days. Here is an aerial view of this catastrophe that took place in Pakistan, and you guys can see this water's coming from somewhere. Look at this. Apparently there was a whole bunch of cattle and some goats and some chickens that got washed away in the flood. People were standing on top of the homes. It seems that water was flowing down from every corner in this little village, y'all. Look at this coming down the stairs, and y'all, it's not even raining. This is now crazy. Check this out. I feel like this has been the theme this year, right? It starts off as a little bit, right? And then whoosh, just the gates have been open. You can't even tell that there's a little bridge over in there that lets the water through. Look at this car trying to come through. That's crazy, bro. Look how powerful this water is, y'all. Now, not only did Pakistan experience some crazy flash flooding, but this mud flood came out of nowhere. So at first it started out like this, y'all. It's black. Y'all see this? It's like new earth. It's like new earth loading. Look at that new soil coming in. Now check this out. And then it started to look like some type of mud, y'all. Look at this. It was going through the whole town. This thing ain't stopping for nobody. That's like, look at this, y'all. It eventually made its way into the village and it was just swallowing everything that was in sight. This reminds me of TD Jakes right here, man. This is literally what they're talking about. Wow.
What?
Just like they said, man, we are in these times again. We are in the times of Noah. Remember, Noah deals with weather. And this is exactly new weather, the new phenomenon that's happening with the planet. Well, old, new. But this is crazy. It's literally going to swallow up everything, y'all. But this is exactly what Pakistan has been dealing with. But yeah, did y'all know about this, y'all? Pakistan is going, like the whole planet, man. But the shift is here. I've been telling y'all, man. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Yeah, I'm a fan of him, but I know some people aren't really big fans of Juice, but like it or not, he's been on this weather thing way before anybody else, way before it was trending every day. He was doing these floods, he was doing these natural disasters. I used to call him Weatherman Juice, because all his videos turned into like weather, but he was doing this before a lot of people, y'all, and you know, is Juice a plant?
Actually be living in a Black Mirror episode. So a company just launched these. They're called Waves. They are camera glasses for creators that let you record in stealth and live stream all day. And at first glance, you're probably thinking, okay, hands-free glasses, it's just like these Meta glasses, but more towards live streaming. But the more you think about it, the more terrifying it actually gets. Let's first start off with the whole record in stealth marketing angle. What? It's not really a feature, it's more of a business model on violating consent. Like anything that you do could be recorded on camera now by anybody, civilians, which I'm sure is going to relate to thousands of conspiracy theories as well for, the government. But think about it, you could be out at dinner or having a very private conversation, and every single word you're saying is being live streamed to an audience of thousands of people from some 20-year-old's Twitch account, and you would have absolutely no idea. Then there's this whole live stream all day thing, which pretty much makes anyone this person with the glasses interacts with an unwilling cast member to their reality TV show. All around, these glasses are just a terrible idea. But this is exactly how all of this starts. It's introduced as a niche creator tool, but really what it's doing is just normalizing the culture of being constantly recorded, in secret nonetheless. And once that becomes normal, the expectation of actually having privacy in public is just gone forever. So while they're selling this as the future for creators, it seems like the end of privacy for pretty much everybody else. Would you wear these, or would you even trust somebody who has?
Boy, S4 isn't supposed to officially exist, so it's
Yeah.
important. The
Yeah.
only versions where it exists, you have Bob Lazar, you have a guy named Dan Barish, and you have this story.
That's right.
And I think we're going to get some more corroboration soon that S4 does in fact exist. And then all of a sudden you start asking questions about these specific stories, and it
Yes.
starts to blow your mind. Okay, so you're going down.
So he goes down and he says, and he sees like there's 3 or 4 UFOs that are just they've got little little garages, like these little chambers.
So it's
where
the
they
same
are.
story as Bob Lazar.
And they're just hovering in there. He said they were just hovering all by themselves inside these little garages like that were underground. He said he saw them, and then they went in, and his commander was going to be, quote, interviewing a live ET guy, right? So he goes with him, and they come into this other area where there were military guys there. He said, but there was this room, like a standalone room with these big 2-way mirrors that you could see through from the outside. And he said he saw the ET guy, but he was like, 5.5 feet tall. Wasn't a little tiny short guy. It was a kind of life-size guy.
Mhm.
So big head, big eyes, and he was in this kind of jumpsuit that they'd provided for him.
Mhm.
And he was very cooperative. He wasn't being
Was
interrogated.
he speaking English or
No,
telepathic?
it was all telepathic. It was all telepathic.
So he just saw them sitting across from each other.
He could see his commander walk in, but he wouldn't go because he said I thought it was demonic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. He said I thought it was demonic, and I didn't want to go near him. And so he stayed outside, but he could see his commander having this kind of telepathic communication going on with him. Right?
And his commander was a fundamentalist Christian.
Yeah. Yes.
And so what was the communication like?
That he didn't say. He just said that it was telepathic. He could tell that they were having this telepathic. Well, he probably afterwards got it confirmed by his commander that it was all telepathic. They weren't talking. You could just see that they were having this kind of communication.
Did he seem honest to you?
Oh yes.
Oscar?
Oh yes.
So you think that happened?
Yeah, I do think that happened. I think
one story that I found very interesting, this man named Peter from Austria and his two friends, they decide we're going to go to T-Rich Moor. They make a base camp to reach the summit. They decided we're going to send 2 people up, 1 person's going to stay at base camp.
No way.
How they decide doing a poker game. So they have a poker game. It's pretty intense. And Peter loses. His 2 friends then that morning leave to go summit the rest of the King of Darkness Mountain, and they die. They fall, apparently off an ice sheet. That's what's said. They never recovered the bodies that I know of. Peter walks completely unscathed. A couple years later, this guy starts working at a company called Nestle.
Shut up.
His name is Peter Brabeck, who is now the CEO of the World Economic Forum. The same man who went on top of this mountain, had 2 of his best friends perish, went on from there to start working at Nestle. Since then, has been working for Nestle until recently.
And he was appointed by Klaus
Schwab,
The most powerful person
who
on
he
planet
founded
Earth.
the World Economic Forum. Just stepped down.
He just stepped down on the day the Pope passes away, and now this guy, Peter, is in charge.
Peter the Pope? Peter the Roman?
They just assumed on the same day. What if it's not the Vatican? What if it's the Vatican? What if the step above the Vatican is the World Economic Forum?
Oh my! People start seeing dead relatives around 3 weeks before death. So as a hospice nurse, like clinically, it's just something that I see all the time. People will say, it's ICU psychosis, it's delirium, it's the medications. I know that is not true because I've been a hospice nurse and an ICU nurse. I've seen someone who is delirious or hallucinations because of a disease process. Those things I can tell you with 100% certainty are not happening with visioning. Visioning is like you and I sitting here and me suddenly seeing my dead uncle Jack, who I haven't seen since he died, and he's telling me that I'm going to be okay and he's going to come get me.
Is it always someone that's dead?
Yes.
This is so common that it's literally in hospice textbooks.
Over 80%.
80%.
Over 80% of people. As a new hospice nurse, I remember thinking, how irresponsible of us as healthcare providers to give someone a book that says your loved one may start seeing the unseen and talking to dead people. And then after a couple years, it's like, oh yeah, I totally see why.
As they are near death, there's some sort of amplified awareness that they are tuning into.
And it doesn't matter if they're religious or not. And in fact, many people will say, I've never been religious. I don't even know if I believe in this stuff, but this is what's happening to me. And they said that it's like they're in a different world, a different realm, even though they're still here. It feels like time standing still. It feels expansive. So this woman reaches up and goes, oh, Bob, I've missed you. And the daughter, it gives me chills right now. The daughter was like, Bob was my dad. You know, her husband, he died 5 years earlier. And she was up there, she was smiling, going, Bob, I missed you. And then she put her arms down and started crying and then said, I'll see you soon. And then died shortly after. And then, of course, the daughter's telling me the story. And she just lost her mom. But it's also like, I'm so grateful, she said. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, my mom literally saw my dead dad before she died, cried because she missed him so much, and then said she was coming to see him soon. And then what's crazy is, I hear stories like this all the time, where it's like almost second place. Like it's easy to forget them, but I mean, it doesn't really get old either.
Women. Now, I remember I used to, work for LabCorp. I was afloat, so I would, drive with different drivers, and we always somehow got talking. I don't know. I'm fascinated with these ghost stories type things, and he was saying that he had a relative that the dad passed away, and the daughter saw him in a dream. Now, the daughter didn't know this about the mom, who was still alive, but I guess the mom every day at the same time at night, every in the middle of the night, would stare at the moon. The moon would be outside of her window, her bedroom window, while she was asleep. She'd wake up and she said, I would stare at the moon, let's just say for 30 minutes every night, 30 minutes, I'd be staring at the moon. And in that dream that the daughter had, the dad told her, tell your mom when she's looking at the moon, that's me. You know what I mean? And the daughter had no idea what he was talking about. But she told him. And sure enough, the mom said, I stare at the moon every night for 30 minutes. You know, and it's just so crazy how life is, y'all, how there's something after this. There is something after this. And it's just we can't even think of, you know, how great that is. I felt a little bit when God, I remember I told you guys, God has talked to me and I felt pure joy, warmth go through my body. And I always said, like, if that is just a glimpse of what it's like, you know, when we're no longer here, like, it's the greatest ever because there was no worry, there was no fear, there was no anxiousness, there was no thought of the past, there was no thought of the future. It was like actually living in pure now. It was really, really great feeling.
Across America are furious right now because somebody has just hacked this female-only app, publicly leaking thousands of users' images, IDs, and posts. If you hadn't heard, there's a super popular app called T, so much so that it's actually the #1 free app on the Apple Store and is designed to promote safely dating and to help women do background checks on men. And there's a lot of useful features like being able to reverse image search in the cases of catfish, the ability to check if someone's married or a sex offender, but one of its features has proved very controversial. It's the ability to anonymously share red flags of a man with other women. Kind of like how you rate an Uber after a ride. And as you'd imagine, the backlash because of this has been intense. Some people online labeled it anti-male, a feminist doxing app, and even as far as calling it evil and meant to destroy men's lives. And that's why some people are even celebrating this hack. But the amount of people actually exposed in this leak is pretty insane. You see, T currently has millions of users, and hackers were able to get unauthorized access to 72,000 images, 13,000 of which were selfies, and even images of identification documents. This even included thousands of driver's license, which is what they used for verification when signing up for the app. But some men have gone even further in all of this, and to get back at women, they have gone as far as creating a leaderboard from the leaked selfies, where people can then go and rank these images, and they have a top 50 and a bottom 50. Point is, you could probably add this to the active conflicts in the world. It's getting so heated right now. But of course, as always, what do you guys think?
Now we're gonna get into some dating stuff on my second channel as well. Like Segovia was single for 8 years. Maybe in those 8 years, I was married before, got divorced. I was single for 8 years, maybe had 2 or 3, 2-month relationship, 6-month, 1 6-month relationship. Like I was single for a while. So I've been to hundreds of dates, y'all. And we're gonna get into that. But it's so crazy, like how these like just because this guy gave this girl a red flag doesn't mean he's gonna give this girl a red flag. Like I always would say, like, you can ask 20, like people would say, like, man, you're such a nice guy, like girls, and I'd be like, you can ask 20 other girls and they're gonna say I'm the biggest asshole ever. It's just our energies didn't match, like my energies didn't match with them. When I got what I wanted, I'm sorry, like I hate to be an ass, but like I got things to do. But then there was these, girls that I clicked with, and it was great after I got what I wanted. Like, let's go have some food. Let's go have some food. And then they're like, no, I gotta go because I'm not their energy. We didn't match. You know what I mean? So the dating game is just crazy, y'all. So we'll get into that on the second channel because I feel like I got some knowledge in it. I've been around the block a lot.
Actually, do you know what this is that I brought? It's a long beaked mask.
Like a bird mask.
Yeah.
I do not know what that is.
Okay, so a lot of people think this is a Venetian mask. It is what doctors would have worn during the bubonic plague. So it's called the plague doctor mask. And so it was invented in the 17th century by a French doctor. And the idea behind it was, so people thought that disease was spread by this thing called miasma, which are like little particles in the air. They're sort of associated with bad smells. So if something smells bad, it's probably not good for you, is what they thought. thought. And it kind of makes sense because if you're in a slummy area of the Victorian period, it probably has a lot of disease. It probably doesn't smell good. So that was sort of the thinking behind it. So what you would do is you would put sweet smelling herbs into the beak. So you would be smelling this in. It would protect you from those evil miasma.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that a real one?
There's a lot of illustrations of the plague doctor, and he would have been wearing a hat. He would have been wearing a cape, leather gloves, like sort of just protecting himself. They had a stick as well that they would sort of poke the patient with so they wouldn't have to touch the patient.
They did not know what germs were, so they really didn't understand what the plague was.
If you broke out with the plague, they would probably quarantine you in your house, and they put a big cross on the door. People would bring food and, put a basket outside of your window with a rope, and you take. And so they do that until everybody was dead in the house or that the plague had passed and they felt that you were safe to come out into the general population. There was sort of a phrase, go far and go long, get out and don't come back for a while.
There was aliens walking around, dude, like 8, 9, 10 feet tall, gray aliens just walking around. Have you heard of the Florida situation where they said the kids were shooting in the mall, but there was like thousands of cops, and some people had footage of like 8 or 9 foot tall alien creatures walking around?
I should have brought you on this documentary as an expert. I haven't heard of this story yet. Tell me about it.
Dude, all you gotta do is Google it. And there was supposedly 4 or 5 people with footage that they showed their families and friends, and they're no longer around. Nobody can find them.
Seems like an investigation might be due here.
In case you missed it, the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or the agency responsible for keeping your deposits safe, released their Q1 2025 banking profile report yesterday, in which they revealed that U.S. banks are currently sitting on $413.2 billion worth of unrealized losses. Remember Silicon Valley Bank? Their unrealized losses weren't a problem until they were, when the bank needed liquidity and they were forced to sell their bonds at a loss to raise cash. This shattered the illusion of stability. Depositors panicked, rightfully so, and the bank collapsed overnight. Now, in that case, the FDIC and the Treasury Department stepped in to make depositors whole again, even those over the insured limit. But do not be so sure that that would happen again. See, the FDIC currently insures almost 4,500 banks, totaling over $10 trillion worth of deposits. And they have $140 billion in their deposit insurance fund. That mathematically equals about 1.3 cents to every dollar insured. Think about that. For every dollar that the FDIC insures, they only have about a penny ready to step in and save.
Every day I was just scared to die because I knew I'd go to hell. You know how you might wake up and you be happy, you know what I'm saying? Nah, bro. Every day I wake up, it go right back to like, I get hit back with reality. Wake up with a headache on high. I'm like, man, bro, I gotta stop smoking, gang. I gotta stop popping perk. I gotta stop living this life, not even just by the joy. I gotta stop the secular music. I gotta stop all this, like, yeah. I'm just like, every day I wake up, I'm waking up with the same realization, like, bro, I gotta stop. Yeah. I gotta stop. It was like I'm living in a prison. Spitting. I'm living in like a real mental, physical, and spiritual prison.
Back in the 1970s, there was this young guy and young girl, and they go out on this first date. And the guy says to his date, do you want to do something kind of crazy with me right now? He's like, I oftentimes go for walks out in Provo Canyon. It brings you out to this overlook with this incredible view of the stars. And she's like, okay, let's do it. As they were walking, both of them began feeling this really intense dread. They begin walking faster out of this kind of nervous energy they have now because they're trying to get to this overlook, basically get it out of the way and come on back. At some point, they hear a rustling sound, and at the exact same time, the guy steps on something soft, and he has no idea what he's stepping on. And the girl, without any communication, they turned and walked out. Didn't even look down. They had no idea what's going on. They both knew, let's get the out of here. And 10 years later, they wound up getting married. They're at home and the TV is on and an interview comes on, and it's a journalist talking to a death row inmate. And he's giving this interview about what he did. And the journalist asks him, was there ever a time that you almost got caught? And the serial killer is like, yeah, there was a time. I was out in Provo Canyon and I just killed a girl and I was trying to dispose of her body. And I dragged her across the trail. and this young couple comes turning around the corner, and they stepped on the body. And I was maybe a foot away holding her, looking up at them in the darkness, waiting to see what they were going to do. Wow. But for some reason, the couple didn't look down. They didn't look around. They just turned and left. And so it turned out they had come in contact.
Man, I told y'all, man, everything that we have been told is a lie, man. Do you guys know what's currently happening with these monks? So now we know the real secrets as to why these monks are able to sit in boiling hot waters for hours upon waters. So y'all, they just raided the temples in Thailand, and they found out a whole bunch of these monks tested positive for meth, y'all. Check this out.
Doing drugs.
A third of the Buddhist monks at a temple in northern Thailand have tested positive for meth. 6 out of 18 monks at Wat Protham in Pijit province were disrobed after failing surprise drug tests during a police raid on Monday. Officers also found meth pills, a homemade gun, and bullets hidden in the temple. The 6 monks were kicked out of the monkhood and sent for rehabilitation.
Wait a minute. A gun and bullets? What happened to the divine? What happened to Buddha will protect you? What happened to that? Now, in other news, there is some type of clash going on between Thailand and Cambodia. And Cambodia retaliated by, yeah, y'all, sending those things. Yes.
It's looking like a war could end up breaking out here in Thailand with what's happened with Cambodia today. For those who don't know, Cambodia have shot missiles and rockets into Thailand, killing over 9 people, leaving 14 people injured.
Thundering real bad outside right now, y'all.
It's looking really, really scary, and it's looking like a war could end up breaking out.
And the reason why they're fighting is for the temples in the land, what the Buddhist monks just got in trouble for. They want the lands closer to the borders, so maybe that's why the federal agencies went to get those monks, y'all. This is crazy. But yes, y'all, so much going on, and now Cambodia and Thailand is into the mix, man. Y'all see this stuff? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's get it. Peace in.
Did you ever feel a way in playing 50 Cent records?
50 Cent was so hot with that damn In the Club record. I did not feel one bit of a way. Okay. You have a job to play. Now, Rule,
yeah, it's a different story.
When we first heard In the Club, people start mumbling to me, yo, he's with DRE. And DRE, I respect, like, he's the best producer, in my opinion, of all times. He's ill. So I was like, shit, right? Rule was in the office. We was in there having a good time. And here comes Flex at 7 o'clock. I got the new. So he said, all right, let's listen. Let's listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh God, fucking Dre, right? So boom. So then he's fucking nuts. He may have one, but let's see if he connected the dots lyrically. He may have not connected the dots. I'm
like when that album, when that rush, like I said, I think it came out, 2003? Was 13, y'all. That's what I listened to. Everybody, vehicle, headphones, everybody was listening to 50 Cent back then, y'all. Everybody. G-Unit, in everybody's car, every car I got into, everybody's headphones, like that's everyone's clothes. Like it just took over, y'all. It was crazy time with music, y'all. I remember I used to miss school or go in late to go buy those albums at Target on a Tuesday.
A video, high resolution video of I can't say what platform it was taken from. I can't say where it was taken from, but an object that do you know how large an offshore oil derrick is? They're huge, right? Yeah. They're like almost like a small city, right? They're like one city block. They're huge. They're enormous things. There is a video that shows one of these objects underwater that goes by. The speed was calculated between 450 and 550 knots underwater, and it was bigger than the offshore derrick that it was passing, because you could see in the video the offshore derrick, and you could see this thing zip right by it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of them, right? A lot of them are reported as being transmedium.
Right. So that exactly. Why do we use the term UAP, right? Now it's unidentified anomalous phenomenon because it's all domain. Initially it was UFO, unidentified flying object. And for several reasons they changed the name. One of them, not just because of stigma like people think, but because the word flying object means flight. And you have to have wings to fly. That's flight. And these things don't have wings. So that term, we're not even sure is even accurate anymore because they're not just flying. We see them underwater. We see them super high altitude.
So apparently there are feral people just living out in national parks. It's one of my favorite conspiracies to talk about with people. Now, I'm not saying that there's a hidden tribe of inbred mountain goblins stealing campers, but I'm also not saying that. Let's just look at the facts. Every year, hundreds of people vanish in places like Yosemite and the Smoky Mountain National Park. And I know a lot of y'all have seen that map of the cave system in the national park system. How it's pretty much just like when we were in school and the teacher put a transparency over something. It's the same freaking map. So that means there's caves everywhere down there. You know, and the descent didn't exactly not freak me out. But you know, the official explanation we always get is they got lost. Cool, that clears it up, I guess. Just like how my socks disappear in the dryer and they're probably just out hiking now. Some folks will tell you that it's a full cover-up, that the government knows that there's wild, unregistered humans out there, hills have eyes style. And I've heard some absolutely horrific stories from ex-park rangers. I mean, maybe it's not even humans. Maybe it's a CIA gene splicing gone rogue. Maybe it's a bunch of hairless Bigfoots out there. Or maybe, you know, hear me out. Maybe some dude just didn't pay his taxes and decided to go full caveman instead of filing an extension on his taxes. You know, reality is a lie, but the show is real.
All right, family. There you have today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You made it this far. Y'all know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Y'all, let's get to 100,000. I remember when I first started, like, road to 1,000, giveaway at 1,000. And then it was road to, 10,000, giveaway at 10,000. We're at like 23, 25,000. Let's get to 100,000, y'all. And also, my second channel down below, we're posting. We got a clips channel. So anybody that, doesn't want to sit here for an hour, we get the highlights from this hour and 10-minute reaction. And I got a clips channel. I got my second channel. Like I said, we're getting into food stamps. We're getting into dating. We're getting into debt. We're getting into things that are affecting everybody today, right? We're going to get into all that. So be sure to go down there, hit the subscribe, and go check me out over there, y'all. And today, it was tough. This video was tough to get done. It took me like 3 hours because the baby just wasn't going to sleep. I filmed the first half, then I had to feed him, and he still wasn't going to sleep. He finally fell asleep, but now it's thundering outside. We're going to get some rain. The family was here, y'all. I got a doggy door. I've had this doggy door. I got it installed. It's in the wall. And when my dad was here, we're like, when we're there, we're gonna work on this doggy door. And sure enough, he's so energized. He was getting up, getting off the couch to go let the dogs out, letting them in. And now the dogs are getting the hang of it. So I'm sticking to it, y'all, because we got a vacation coming up in September. And I would hate to have to drive all the way to Arizona to take the dogs to my parents' house because I don't really trust anybody here with my dogs. So it looks like the doggy door thing is going to be working. So I'll be able to, not have to worry. Mama Bear's family can come feed the dogs and they'll go in and out as they please. So that's the plan, y'all. But anyways, I hope everyone out there is having a good Monday, y'all. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. It's the day off from the baby. So we'll have some bangers. We'll have some videos from my second channel out. Got a notification that the baby is moving. I better get going. Later.